Keep the 10 starting. Good job. So what about your chapter 2? You think you're ready?
Yeah. I review?
Yeah. I'm just waiting on. I know Mackenzie's not going to make it. See if Skylar does. We'll do a quick review. Guess the next question is: would you rather do matching or multiple choice? Because I got both. Multiple choice? Okay. Interesting. Interesting. All right, let's see. do 50 questions from this. Let's see. I'll also do some questions. Mm, All right. First question. This is all related to federal requirements. First letter of a DEA number on a prescription from a physician's assistant. Let's add that. Oh, for a physician, this is specific. So for a physician, it's going to be an M, but it's either A, B, F, M, or X. That's pretty much what you need to know. I don't think they're going to do a specific that this is for a physician. Pharmacy must ensure that its pharmacy records are readily retrievable for a pharmacy inspector. How much time is this? It's kind of a question there. So usually state board will send somebody to make sure that our records are um, up to date. I would say 48 or 72. Let's try 48. Yeah, 72. Readily retrievable is being able to provide the necessary information to the party, to a third party, such as DEA representatives from a state board of pharmacy within 72 hours. And they're mainly going to look at make sure your paperwork's correct in the pharmacy and making sure everything's by law. All the following medications must be packaged in a child resistant container, except which one? B? Ibuprofen, it's in a child resistant container, but which one should not be?
Maybe
Huh? C? Should be C. But just remember, read this part here. Good morning. You okay? We just started.
my brother doesn't understand that the world doesn't revolve around
So just remember that short and except which one it is nitroglycerin. Again, that's the Poison Prevention Packaging Act of 1970. So keep that in mind as well. Cytoxic medications are disposed of with what?
it.
But
Either A or B.
let's try A. So that is USP 800, United States Pharmacopoeia 800. Remember, I said that that was dealing with chemotherapy mixtures. So anytime you see USP 800, it's going to be dealing with chemotherapy mixtures or hazardous mixtures. USP 797 is just dealing with sterile compounding. And USP 795, non-sterile compounding, which is just on the counter. You know, taking a magic bounce wash or something like that, that's a form of sterile compounding. They just do it on the counter without uh, a hood or anything like that. Which schedule of medications has no medical use in the United States and possesses an extremely high potential for abuse? A Schedule 1. Uh, and Keep in mind that, anything we're talking about scheduled medications, we're talking about DEA, the Drug Enforcement Administration. If a pharmacy technician spills a hazardous substance in their eye, how long should they flood the affected eye with water or an isotonic eye wash? Which one? 15 about. Yeah. So USP 800 requires an individual to flood an eye exposed to hazardous substance for a minimum of 15 minutes. Have y'all ever gotten anything in your eye? Like very painful?
Oh, a nail.
A nail?
Oh, no, my eye was scissors. I was like clipping my nails and it just went into my
Oh.
eye. I had that happen. And I was just like,
I was compounding one time and I was mixing something with some acid, and the way we were compounding it was a syringe to syringe method. So it was two like 60 mil syringes, and I was just transferring them each to each side, and then the the attachment popped off, and when I was pushing down so that it get to the transfer to the other side, it, it all went into my eye. It was so painful. I had to have it. I had to have something more than morphine for the pain to go away. I didn't think I was gonna see again. That's how bad it was. It was happened to my right eye. Uh, there's times that my eyes would be red around here on the top of my lids because of that. So I don't know. But yeah, it was very painful. Very painful. So I always wear goggles. That's one thing that I didn't do and I should have done. But I was glad that I didn't have to foot the bill. It was my employer. But it was painful. Very painful. All right. How often is a biennial inventory for controlled substance taken in a pharmacy? So
yearly, twice.
bi means two.
Yeah.
So every 2 years.
Oh,
Bi means two.
well, I said year. I said twice a year.
Yeah, just keep, kind of look at the wording, also, and you can get the prefix or the prefix of it. And it can help you out. All right. When must a medication guide be given to the patient?
All of them.
All of these? Yeah. And that's usually, that's, through over 90 as well, counseling the patient as well. That's all over 90.
Isn't it just folded paper on the back?
That is on the medications usually, but when we won't give this to the patient. We'll give like a printed copy. The information's already stored in the database. Which of the following is true about oh well, do we already answer that? Okay, well, which of the following is true about medication guides?
Well, maybe.
Which one? D?
Wait, what is omnibus app labeling and stuff? Maybe.
Is D?
Maybe. B. Is it B? But
Medication guides are paper handouts that come with many prescription medicines. The guides address issues that are specific to particular drugs.
Oh, dang, that's what I should do.
Yeah. They contain FDA approved information that can help patients avoid. So again, which one is true? The pharmacy technician observes an expired bottle of atorvastatin on the shelf. What should they do?
Form-
141?
What?
No.
Oh wait, isn't it 222? No, 222. Oh, yeah.
So we would remove the bottle from the shelf and segregate it with the other expired meds.
Wait, isn't it wait, hospitals do?
Um, yeah, they do waste all the time. So
Yeah, they're not great. Like,
it's recorded anyway. So.
oh,
Can go back to
Oh.
it.
I didn't see the red dot.
Which of the following characteristics of Schedule 1 controlled substance?
No for B. No. Yeah. Oxygen for abuse and no approved. I was thinking schedule 5. I don't know why. But
And keep in mind that's part of Controlled Substance Act of 1970 for that one. That's when when the DEA was formed. Also, they decided to separate controls. What is the maximum number of refills permitted by law for the following prescription?
5.
Why?
5 every 6 months.
What control is this?
Yes.
What schedule control is this?
3.
No.
4.
No.
2.
Yes.
Okay.
Hydrocodone with the acetaminophen. What is hydrocodone?
Oh, it's Tylenol. It's the oxycodone.
What's the drug class?
Not that was wrong. Okay. Drug class is musculoskeletal.
It's in the musculoskeletal system. What's the drug class? Drug class. So it's the brand name is Lortab or Vicodin.
Vicodin is
Drug class. What are those?
musculoskeletal.
Yeah.
It's within the musculoskeletal
Oh,
system.
that's already what you said. Well, we did that last week on the board, didn't we? I
Yes.
pictured.
Drug class. What drug class? Y'all need to know this. If you knew the drug classification, you would know it falls into this schedule. It is part of that drug class.
Wait,
Wait, I don't understand.
like how ibuprofen is like NSAID.
Yeah.
So like,
Oh.
don't look it up. I'm trying to think.
She started the first letter though. She just said the first letter when she said, "Oh."
Oxycodone, oxycodone.
All those fall in that drug class.
Mm. Okay, wait, no, don't write it. Wait.
He's gonna write.
Wait.
It's literally on the tip.
Like-
of my head,
like
and
you
I
said,
can't bring it up.
Ibuprofen falls in NSAIDs. Naproxen falls in
Is it
NSAIDs.
the muscle?
Musculoskeletal medications.
Relaxants or whatever.
Huh? No, not the muscle relaxers.
Osteoporosis.
No.
No,
I don't know.
that's a disease.
I don't know.
Starts with the O.
Okay, Oh. Oh,
How many? That's.
Okay,
Pick a letter.
X.
Huh?
X.
No.
Nope.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A.
Maybe.
There's an A. Arthritis is too short. R. Ugh. N. There has to be an N.
Oh
Crap.
I'm looking at the pictures and I don't see it.
Sandra, you gotta help me.
I'm trying my best.
S.
E.
To S.
Yes,
You
S.
said E.
Yes.
Opioids.
Opiates or
Wrong.
opioids?
Why did that take you so long?
Bruh.
Or opioids. So opiates, opioids, Schedule 2, no refills. Yeah. So 0 refills. Remember that. And that's in the Comprehensive Drug Abuse and Prevention and Control Act of 1970. 70. How often is biennial inventory taken?
Every 2 years.
There we go. Which legislation permits an individual to be able to return unused controlled substance medication to a designated pharmacy for proper disposal?
D.
Disposal Act kind of gives it away. So
Oh,
good job.
disposal.
Which of the following medications is contraindicated for an individual with hypertension? So this is going to increase blood pressure. Do you think diphenhydramine, which is Benadryl, is going to increase blood pressure? So you've got to, for some kids, they might increase it because it gets them active. But for everybody else, for other than the exceptions, they're going to make you fall asleep. Huh?
Is it D?
Should be D because that's going to open up your arteries and increase blood flow. Pumping harder, heart's pumping harder at increased rate. If a patient is receiving a prescription for isotretinoin, in what program must he or she be registered? Huh?
A.
A. So I pledge program 2006. You don't really need to know that as long as you know this part. I pledge deals with isotretinoin.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
Why? Um, they give certain medications different programs because this one can cause birth defects to children. So that's why. The litamide is another one that would cause birth defects. I don't think it's legal in the United States, but this is for severe acne. So they make sure that the patient's not pregnant or planning to get pregnant. That's why they put it on this program because they got to keep close eye on it. They with this one they do not have any refills. They have to get a new prescription every time because the prescriber has to make sure that the patient's not trying to get pregnant and the pharmacist as well. And this works for males as well. What is the maximum number of different items that may be ordered on a paper DEA 2224? 10.
Say. Okay.
10. So that again is the Controlled Substance Act of 1970. So 10 on the paper form. What type of a hospital error occurs when there is a failure to administer an ordered dose to a patient before the next dose is due? What type of hospital error occurs
A.
with a failure to administer? Sorry. Failure to administer is the key word.
Oh, wrong dose. Admission error. Omission.
Wrong.
B.
C?
D.
Should be C.
B. B.
Omission error.
Yeah. But
What type of hospital error occurs when there is failure to administer an ordered dose to a patient before the next doses? So it's not wrong drug administration. Oh no, it wouldn't be that because that's a wrong drug. Yeah, I was thinking of non-administration almost. So yes, omission error. While compounding a hazardous medication, some of the medication is spilled in the technician's eye. How long should the technician flood the eye?
uh,
15 minutes. Self-certification is required of a pharmacy selling which medication?
while the scene with Cody.
Think that one?
Yes.
Should be the pseudoephedrine because of the Combat Methamphetamine Act. And always put this Combat Methamphetamine Act with pseudoephedrine. And that's what why we have behind the counter medications because of this act, because people were making meth of pseudoephedrine, the ingredient, as one of the ingredients. And we have to get certified to be certified to dispense this medication. Which of the following medications is not classified as a hazardous drug?
Extra.
Estradiol is considered. Cisplatin is a, okay, you would probably have to be in the hospital to really know these. Cisplatin is a chemo drug, so that is hazardous. Methotrexate is hazardous. That's for rheumatoid arthritis, but also for chemos as well. Estradiol is hazardous um, because it's a hormone. So I believe lisinopril is not a hazardous one. Lisinopril is not classified as hazardous. Cisplatin, estradiol, and methotrexate are classified as hazardous drugs. You'll see that later or in the future, I should say. Which of the following medications is classified as schedule listed chemical product? Not B. It should be C. Only because this product can be made into meth. That is why. So SLCP, schedule listed chemical product, is a product that contains pseudoephedrine, ephedrine, or phenylpropanolamine, and is distributed as a non-prescription drug. But that is why, just because they can make meth out of it. Last night, a local pharmacy had its safe broken into, and Schedule 2 drugs were stolen. Which form would be needed to be completed?
106.
106. Good job. 106 to complete theft. Which of the following medications is exempted from being dispensed in a child resistant container?
Singular.
No. Orthonovum is a birth control, so that is restricted from being in a child resistant container. I'm not for sure why, but yeah. Which of the following provided for the first comprehensive federal protection for the privacy of health information? First comprehensive federal.
Privacy of HIPAA.
Which HIPAA?
Security.
HIPAA security?
Yes. Privacy.
HIPAA privacy.
Is it privacy? I don't know.
Privacy rule addresses a patient's health information, electronic healthcare transactions, and code set standards require every provider that does business electronically to use the same healthcare transaction code sets and identifiers. HIPAA security rule compels administrative, technical, and physical safeguards to protect patients' health information. There is not a HIPAA transaction rule. So there's just a HIPAA privacy, HIPAA security, and the electronic. There's not a transaction. Which medication requires registration in the iPledge program? Isotretinoin. All of the following have to do with the use of isotretinoin except what? So I told you it was for acne.
Is it D? I'm gonna say
We'll try it.
because you said it was for acne, so it can't be for
Yeah. Isotretinoin is very powerful medication used to treat acne. Unfortunately, the medication has been found to cause severe birth defects, induce spontaneous abortions, and produce adverse psychiatric effects, including depression, psychosis, suicidal ideation, suicide attempts, and suicide. That's another reason they're on this plan. It is only to be used for severe recalcitrant nodular acne unresponsive to other medications. So very severe acne. A pharmacy technician may perform all the following tasks except which one? Pharmacy tech may perform all the following tasks, except which one? A is cleaning the flow head. So USP 797, we're doing sterile compounding, mixing IVs. So we're able to do that. We start off with cleaning the hood and then we end with cleaning the hood. C, yes. Drug utilization review. Pharmacy tech may clean the laminar flow hood, order medications, repackage medication. Pharmacy tech cannot perform a drug utilization review because it would require them to make a decision. Pharmacy techs are permitted to perform technical tasks, but not make judgmental decisions. Good job. Yeah, and just kind of weed them out, the ones that, we are able to do. Which of the following is a valid DEA number for Dr. Mary Rocket? So it's a doctor, so that's a what? We found that it should be letter B, right? For a doctor. In the beginning, we know with that. So it should be letter B. Is it? What's the second letter supposed to be?
Last name.
The first initial of the last name. So it should be this one. See if this is valid. How is it valid? Let me see. This you can find. No, what page was that on? Page 49 in your book. So the letters are BR 452 5892. Okay, we established that that was the doctor. And we first have to make sure the first letter is A, B, F, M, or sometimes X. And then the second initial should be the initial of the first initial of the last name of the prescriber. After that, we'll add one, the first digit, the third digit, and the fifth digit. So 6 plus 8 is 14. So then we'll add the second digit, the fourth digit, and the sixth digit. So that's 19. But we're going to multiply that times 2. So that's 38. 38 plus 14, we'll add those two. We should get to 52. So since this digit is the number 2, and this last digit is number 2, and we did verify the letters, they were correct. So this is a valid DEA number. Remember that? It was in the lab. Have you done that in the lab yet? Chapter 2.
I was thinking on that, and I was going to ask you today.
Okay. Well, that's on page 49 for the lab on that one. So it should be C. All right. Which of the following should be done when a pharmacy receives manufacturer's drug recall?
All of the
Let's see. Yep. You should, of course, remove it from the shelves, put it separate from everything else, call the patients, notify all the physicians as well. What is the minimum age for an individual to purchase a bottle of exempt narcotic? Should be 18. Which of the following is a transdermal controlled substance?
Fentanyl.
Fentanyl. Yes. And what is transdermal? What does that mean?
No, I think you didn't know.
So dermis,
Kid.
skin.
Oh.
So it's like a patch, transdermal patch. Yeah. And the scopolamine is a patch for nausea, but just remember this is a controlled two substance. And you found you is that what gave it away, the controlled two?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's another way. Or that it was a controlled substance. All the following are potential roles of pharmacy technician in dispensing a medication that requires REMS program, except which one? So the REMS program is like the iPledge program for isotretinoin.
A.
Assisting the patient. Let's see. No. Pharmacy tech is not permitted to counsel. So counseling.
Oh.
Again, anything that has counseling, we're for sure not to do it.
I didn't catch pharmacy tech.
Where is pseudoephedrine stocked in a community pharmacy?
Behind.
Behind the pharmacy counter. And again, that's a combat methamphetamine epidemic.
Isn't all the medicine on there? All the not controlled ones or all controlled ones?
Well, OTC is over the counter, so you have those outside that they can be purchased. Again, biannual inventory.
Every two.
Biannual inventory is required by the Drug Enforcement Administration of all controlled substances every 2 years. An accurate count of all Schedule II medications must be performed, but Schedule 3, 4, and 5 and exempt narcotics may be estimated. So for sure, an exact count on all Schedule IIs because those are the most addictive. Which of the following medications requires a woman to use birth control for 1 month before treatment begins, during treatment, and for 1 month after treatment has ceased?
B.
Which one?
B.
B. That's tretinoin. Dealing with the iPledge program. Food and Drug Administration has a responsibility to oversee the safety of.
All of them.
Yep, every one of those. Which of the following would be the correct DEA number used by a resident working at Mercy Hospital who has prescribed 20 tablets of hydrocodone and acetaminophen to a patient?
I don't know their name.
We'll do Mercy Hospital as the because this is not this is just a resident, so it's not like a certified doctor.
Okay.
Think which one?
Oh, I'm trying to calculate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's right. Seems right.
See,
Bro.
it's should be is it A? So for the resident, they're going to start with letter A. Since it's Mercy Hospital, they're starting with this first letter right here. That's why they have the M here for hospital. And then
I have the number right.
you got the number right on this one? Because they were all the same right here. I'm just kind of weirded with this number here. It says the second letter is the first letter of the provider's last name or the first letter of the name of the hospital. It is followed by a mathematical combination consisting of seven numbers. A hospital resident is assigned a unique identifier that follows the DEA number. So if it's going to be a resident hospital, it's going to have a unique identifier identifying that it is Mercy Hospital. But it's letter B because these numbers, um, the final sum was ended in three. So, what is the maximum number of refills permitted on a prescription of carisoprodol? What is carisoprodol? Soma. What is that? What is a drug class? It's not an opioid, but it is in the musculoskeletal system.
Is it a schedule like
It's not scheduled.
that? It's called what?
Soma is a brand name. It causes
It's
drowsiness.
not scheduled.
It's not scheduled.
SNRI?
Mm, no.
Can I check?
Yeah,
Oh,
makes it faster. Causes drowsiness.
essentially acting muscle relaxer. That's not what you're asking.
Muscle relaxer, yeah. It's a muscle relaxer. That's what it says on drug class.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
classified.
So it's not a controlled. So how many refills? Huh?
Well,
Let's try 12.
12 or 0.
Oh, it is a control. It's showing a control
Oh,
four.
five.
My bad.
Five, five.
It is five. I never known that to be controlled. I have got to get back in the pharmacy because that wasn't controlled when I was there. So five times maximum refills or within 6 months. Who is responsible for notifying a patient that a medication they have been prescribed has been recalled by the drug manufacturer?
The physician.
Should be the FDA.
Oh,
Wait, who is responsible for notifying a patient
yeah, physician.
that a medication
Or it's either that one or pharmacy. Because don't they tell you when you go to pick it up?
should be a pharmacy? Yeah, the pharmacy, not the FDA. FDA notifies the pharmacy, and the pharmacy notifies the patient and the prescriber. Over 90. Which of the following tasks is a pharmacy technician permitted to perform?
Okay, so Obra is it changed. Okay, I know.
From it changed from nursing homes, and then they extended it to counseling patients, giving um, medication information to patients. Which one?
B.
But this is pharmacy
B.
technician promoted
Oh,
permitted.
not that. Never mind. A. Yeah, not. You have to call the physician to do it. When? Wait, no. Wait. Whoa, wait.
What can we do? What can a pharmacy tech do? Can we call a physician and recommend a different drug
No.
dosage?
No.
Can we counsel a patient?
No.
Offered to counsel a patient if allowed by state law,
Sorry. Yes.
or screen patient profiles for drug disease contraindications.
D.
D.
We can't call the physician to help them.
We can't recommend a different drug. Yeah, read it all. Read it all. Pharmacy tech may screen patient profile for drug disease contraindications. So drug disease is called like the drug causes the disease. So like you got Tylenol that's causing liver damage. That's the drug disease type. Or if you already have liver damage, you're not going to get prescribed Tylenol for the most part. You shouldn't. Pharmacy technicians cannot perform duties that require any type of decision making. They may only perform technical duties. Which is the maximum quantity of pseudoephedrine that may be sold in one day to a patient?
3.6.
3.6. Combat Methamphetamine Epidemic Act of 2005. So in one week, what is the for one week it would be 9 grams. Which of the following drug recall description is correct? This is drug recall. There's no class 4. So you're saying class 3 probability exists that use of product will cause adverse health events that are temporary or medically reversible.
A.
Yeah, letter A is the correct one because they go from schedule 1, the most um the most how can I say the side effects that'll hurt the most, which is it could cause death and serious health events. This one is actually number class 2. Probability exists that use of product will cause adverse health events and are temporary or medically reversible. That's 2. This one would be 3. Use of product will probably not cause an adverse health event. And there's no class 4. Pregnant female presents a prescription for isotretinoin to be filled. Which of the following should a pharmacy tech do?
A.
Always alert the pharmacist. Always. Which DEA form is used to report a theft of controlled substance?
B.
B, 106. And 41 is used to report destruction of controlled substance. 222 orders Schedule 2 medications. 224 registers a pharmacy for DEA. When is the best time to check for errors on a prescription?
Before applying or giving final product. A. No. Oh, while filling the order. Yes. No. Gosh. Dang it.
When checking the original order against the label, against the stock bottle before filling the vial and labeling. So you have the original order, which the prescription order, and then you have your printed label that you grab from the printer, and you're just going to make sure that those two are correct. How many different controlled substances may be ordered using the controlled substance ordering system or CSAUS? So this is like a 222, but online,
Ten. Five.
more than 10.
20.
It should be. I don't think there's a limit, but we'll see 20. Yeah,
Wait, so
there's no limit. So this is online. There's no more paperwork. There's nothing to fill out anymore. Everything's online. They have their credentials, and it's mainly pharmacists that have their credentials online. Unlike the DEA Form 222, which permits a maximum of 10 different items to be ordered, the Controlled Substance Ordering System, CSAUS, does not have a limit on the number of different controlled substances that can be ordered at one time. And this is just all online.
why isn't it the same one?
Because there's just a certain amount of page that you can fill out on the form. This is more database keeps that information where we have to keep the paper form information, so it makes it easier. Which of the following medications may be prescribed as a single dose for vulvovaginal candidiasis?
B or A.
D or A? Well, it's either one, right? Because it's going to be a virus, it seems like, huh? Or it could be fluconazole. Let's do D.
A.
It's fluconazole.
What?
So this is actually a
Is that the
bacteria.
flu?
Huh?
No, VIR is virus. No, flu. Oh.
Oh, flu. No, this is not for flu. No, this is for bacteria. Bacteria infection. The proper form to use when ordering.
I'm on my Zoom forms.
Which answer best describes information required during the sale of an exempt narcotic?
D. No. You don't need the pharmacist signature? Well,
We need the pharmacist signature.
oh,
The sale of an exempt narcotic requires an individual be at least 18 years of age and resident of the community, and that only one 4-ounce bottle, 4 ounces is 120 mils, be sold in the original manufacturer's bottle every 48 hours. So they can't fill it after 48 hours or get another one till after 48 hours. The patient must complete the exempt narcotic log records. They'll just sign it and give their information, which if it ain't already in the computer system. Um, which includes the date of the purchase and the patient's name and address. The pharmacist must make sure that the name, quantity of the product, and selling price of the product is entered in the exempt narcotic book. The pharmacist must sign his or her name in the book as their seller of the exempt narcotic. All right, good job. That was all 50 of those. So, what is the maximum amount of pseudoephedrine base that may be purchased in one day? 10 grams, 9 grams, 3.6 grams, or 2.3.6. Um,
dumb question, but can I eat my breakfast?
sure.
Before I start this,
Let's see.
I still do not think that I'm ready for this. We are ready. I am not ready. Don't you dare. Let's review. Let's review.
What term must appear on the physical prescription of a controlled substance that was transferred to another pharmacy? Transferred, copy, invalid, or void?
Void.
Void. For how long is DEA Form 222 valid? And this is just the paper form.
2 years.
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Is it 6 months, 60 days, 1 month, or 1 week?
60 days.
Should be 60 days. Pharmacy technicians should receive hazardous drug training annually, quarterly, biannually, or biennially.
The last one.
No,
Every 2 years? No,
No.
every year.
every year, annually, annually. According to the DEA, the original and transferred prescription for a controlled substance must be maintained for a minimum period of how long from the date of the last fill? 18 months, 6 months, 12 months, 24 months.
6 months.
So it was a transferred prescription for a controlled substance, should be 24. Where must recalled medications be stored in the pharmacy?
Off the shelves in the back.
Yeah. Isolated from other medications. What form is used to report the theft of controlled substances?
106.
106. The STEPS program addresses which medication? Thalidomide, clozaril, isotretinoin, or marijuana? STEPS.
I don't know.
STEPS is thalidomide. We went over that one. STEPS. Steps.
I don't think I'm gonna do good on this.
Well, you got time to retake it.
Oh, I made a Quizlet.
You did? Okay, well then you get extra 10
I was
points.
supposed to make one for 19. I did not have to.
Which regulatory agency may issue a drug recall?
Yes.
Which regulatory agency may issue a drug recall? Is it the Board of Pharmacy, the DEA, FDA, or TJC, FDA? What classification of drug recall will cause serious adverse health consequences or death? Class 1, 2, 3, 4. Class 1. Which federal agency is responsible for the oversight of safety data sheets? No. Oh, yes. Yes. Safety data sheets. Yes. I was thinking of these small ones. Which of the following medications require risk evaluation mitigation strategy? Is it calcium carbonate, clozapine, ampicillin, amoxicillin?
Number 2.
Clozapine. Why?
Because it is an opioid.
It's to take them off of the opioids. It helps
So they
them.
need counseling.
Yes. So anytime you see risk evaluation mitigation strategy, I'm all right with it. You're dealing with programs. You have iPledge, steps, and then there's the one for closer real. It doesn't really have a, but it's to wean them off of opiates.
Once we start the class,
What's that?
once we start class in fall, are we gonna do a review of these?
We can. We can. With a lot of it, if we're going to be working back over in the back, and you'll start getting familiar. Okay, yeah, I remember this. Looking at this, you'll get used to that. And when we start filling medications and stuff like that.
Can you please say the last question again?
What's that? Oh, you want to know the last question? That is, which of the following medications requires a risk evaluation mitigation strategy, which is the programs, iPledge, steps, and then you have the the answers are calcium carbonate, clozapine, which it is clozapine, ampicillin, and amoxicillin. Clozaril is clozapine. Clozaril is, I believe, the brand name.
Where is it? Close the pin. Okay.
Which organization is responsible for reviewing and approving our EMS?
DEA.
Not
Not
DEA.
FDA.
FDA. FDA.
Can you say that one more time? FDA.
Which organization is responsible for reviewing and approving our EMS? Our EMS is risk evaluation mitigation strategy. I'll leave that up there.
So FDA is approving, like approving
The
approving therapy.
Yeah.
It's like a drug safety.
Yeah.
Safety.
Which of the following programs is a means for an individual to dispose of unused controlled substances? Is it the REMS? Is it that one? Is it brown bag program? Is it the take back program or the white bag program?
White background.
No,
Brown.
it's a take back program.
What is the white bag program? What is it?
They're just made up. Those are just made up.
Oh.
White bag. Brown bag is Sonic.
Oh.
The brown bag special. So take back program. When must SDS, formerly known as MSDS, be provided to the patient? When dispensing a controlled substance? on request from the patient when dispensing and invest when dispensing an investigational drug, when dispensing a hazardous drug, when dispensing a hazardous.
Because they're already on it, but if they're dangerous, they have to give them an extra sheet. Right?
Yeah, this is like maybe for a chemo patient or something. Which types of substances? Well, no, I already said that. No, I didn't. Which types of substances requires a SDS, formerly known as MSDS? Is it hazardous drugs and chemicals?
Yes.
Yeah, letter A. The other answers were investigational drugs, OTC drugs, or intravenous admixtures.
Extra hazardous, extra SDS.
Hazardous, same day surgery. I mean, same day surgery. Safety data sheets and OSHA all go together. This act required all foods and drugs to meet a standard of strength and purity. 19,
Pure Food and Drug Act.
which one?
Pure Food and Drug Act.
Which one? 1906?
Oh God, yes, that one.
Okay.
That's the first one. 1906. The first one set all of them. The jungle. Yes.
18. This required drug manufacturers to prove the safety and efficacy of their products before approval was given by the FDA for marketing. Kefauver-Harris Amendment, Poison Prevention Packaging Act, 1970 Controlled Substance Act, or Prescription Drug Marketing Act of 1987. Should be D.
And what was that?
The Prescription Drug Marketing Act of 1987, the drug manufacturers to prove its safety. No.
So
Should be Kefauver. Yeah, let's make sure.
No. I literally sent it to the group. I was like, hey yo, I made a Quizlet. I'm doing my best. Try harder then. Okay. Just for you. And I'll send it again. Just because you asked. I found it. It's titled the Pharmacy Agency Law. Yeah. What'd you get? Pharmacy Agency. Pharmacy Law and Ethics. You named it yourself.
Safety and efficacy. Yeah. That is the Kefauver-Harris Amendment.
It's the kid for Harrison Act. Safety for the drug.
Prescription drug marketing act. Let me look at that.
I don't even know what question. It was the same. So it was actually like.
Okay, this to report such drugs, success very much. All right.
Harris. Harris checks the drug.
All right, let's look further. Number 19. This act required pharmacists to offer counseling to Medicaid patients regarding medications. Over 90.
I'm not gonna remember this. Remember? Thank you. Like
Counseling overnight. Yeah, you had extra days to study. This act places any drug or hormonal substance chemically and pharmacologically related to testosterone under regulatory provision of the Controlled Substance Act. Was it the 1914 Harrison Narcotic Act drug? 1914 Harris Narcotic Act, Anabolic Steroids Controlled Act of 1990, Prescription Drug Marketing Act of 1987, Kefauver-Harris Amendment. This one's you see testosterone, so it should be Anabolic Steroids Control Act. Testosterone and testosterone, they use that for steroids. Further clarified the distinction between prescriptions and over-the-counter drugs based on whether or not the drugs were habit forming. Durham-Humphrey Amendment, 1951. Durham-Humphrey Amendment. 22, this act regulated drugs that produced or sustained physical or psychological dependence, the importation, sale, manufacture of use of opium, marijuana, synthetic agents, and derivatives. This is the 1914 Harrison Narcotic Act, Controlled Substance. No, no. Uh, Anabolic Steroids Control Act of 1990, 1970 Controlled Substance Act, or 1990 Omnibus Budget Reconciliation Act. Anabolic steroids? No. Should be C, 1970 Controlled Substance Act.
I thought this was the second option. No. What was the second? Oh.
The second option was Anabolic Steroids Control Act of 1990. Manufacturers of drugs and cosmetics must prove that their products are safe. Medical devices must be proved effective. This gave the FDA limited authority to remove products from the marketplace if they are found to be ineffective or unsafe. This is the 1914 Harrison Narcotic Act, 1997 FDA Modernization Act, 1938 Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, 1970 Controlled Substance Act.
If they're safe,
What's that?
like if the drugs are safe, that was a question.
The cosmetics and drugs, yes. Should be C, 1938 Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. This act requires child-proof packaging.
Poison prevention.
Poison prevention. Child-proof packaging.
Oh, that was all.
Just a couple more. Classified drugs based on their potential for abuse. Schedule 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Federal law requires that all controlled substances dispense bear the following. Federal law prohibits the transfer of this drug to any person other than the patient for whom it's prescribed. 1970 Controlled Substance Act. 1970 Poison Prevention Act. 1914 Harrison Narcotic Act. 1997 FDA Modernization Act. Should be A.
What was it?
That 1970 Controlled Substance Act. Drugs based on their potential for abuse. So it scheduled the medications of controlled substances. PDMA is part of the FTC. Let me see here. I probably won't have y'all answer that one.
Yay. You don't have to answer the question. Yeah.
Well, actually, it gives you the answer.
Mm-mm.
It gives you the answer.
You already said it. No defects.
Let me tell you. PDMA is part of the FTC Act, which was enacted to address certain prescription drug marketing practices that have contributed to the diversion of drugs into a secondary gray market. PDMA, the Prescription Drug Marketing Act. That's what it is, from 1987. PDMA, okay? Prescription Drug Marketing Act of 1987.
So what was it?
That's the answer I'm giving you. So just remember that one.
I can't. Can you please say the question?
PDMA is part of the FTC Act, which was enacted to address certain prescriptions, drug marketing practices that have contributed to the diversion of drugs into a secondary gray market. The Prescription Drug Marketing Act, PDMA. HIPAA is the most significant piece of federal legislation to affect pharmacy practice since over 90. The pharmacy rule component of HIPAA took effect on April 14, 2003, and was the first comprehensive federal regulation designed to safeguard the privacy of protected health information. Was it the Omnibus Budget Reconciliation Act of 1990, was in the 1914 Harrison Narcotic Act, the 1996 Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, or the Anabolic Steroids Act of 1990. What is HIPAA?
Patient privacy.
Patient privacy. So HIPAA stands for Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. Just remember that. That's one of your answers. This act changed the legend requirements to RX only to be phased by February 2003. Was it the 1997 FDA Modernization Act, Anabolic Steroids Act of 1990, Poison Prevention Packaging Act, or the 1951 Durham-Humphrey Amendment?
What's the first two?
The act changed the legend requirements to RX only to be phased in February of 2003.
What was A and B?
Let's see, FDA Modernization Act. It's not given. It's 1997. So amended the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act related to the regulation of food, drugs, devices, and biological products. So it's not that one. Let's look at 1951. I wouldn't think it's that one. Let me see. Let me ask the question.
It was something narcotics or something like that.
Huh?
Is it enter like a narcotic act thing?
Let's see. The Durham-Humphrey Act.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the Durham-Humphrey Act. So it separated OTC drugs and prescription drugs. So you have prescription drugs that have RX only on them. A pharmacist receives a prescription for 40 Percocet tablets, but the pharmacy has only 15 tablets in stock. How much time does the pharmacist have to provide the remaining 25 tablets? 72 hours. After being exposed to a hazardous drug, what is the first thing an individual should do?
Wash their eyes. Whatever part splash.
Cleans the affected skin with soap and water, obtain medical care, remove gloves and gown, or document exposure in the employee's medical record.
I mean, they have to clean themselves off first before they document.
So you have to remove your gloves and gown first before you start cleaning on the. Yeah, remove your glove and gown first, and then you would clean the infected area, the affected area. And then it gives you bonuses as far as figuring which is a valid or invalid DEA numbers.
So it's A, wait, like A, B, F, and S, and the last name,
Last
and
name.
then you do all that math.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
You ready?
I don't want to forget.
Let me go make a copy. Okay. Are you ready? Okay.
You can choose multiple or multiple choice or matching.
Yeah, you have a choice, multiple choice, or matching. You said multiple choice, right?
Yes, please.
Mhm.